Hello everyone. In this video series I will be talking about database transactions. I'll try to explain everything you need to know in order to fully understand the database transactions. For this video series we will be using PostgreSQL, so all the examples will be provided in the PostgreSQL. Okay, let's start by the definition. A database transaction is a set of SQL statements executed as a single unit of work. Let's try to understand it step by step. The first thing that we see in a definition is that a transaction turns out to be a set of SQL statements. So let's say we have an SQL statements here. We have 3 insert, select and update SQL statements. Now, question is this a transaction? Turns out it's not, because we need additional SQL statements to convert those set of SQL statements that we see on the screen now to a transaction. And that SQL statement is called begin transaction. So let's pause for a second and see what's happening. So we execute a begin transaction first, and the way it works is that every SQL statement that you execute after the begin transaction is part of that transaction. So in this case here we have a transaction which has 3 SQL statements in it. Now question is, what else can we do with a transaction, right? Well, turns out we can do 2 things. The first one is we commit a transaction, and the way it works is that we execute a commit SQL statement, and what it does is that all the SQL statements that we are part of a transaction, or in other words, all the SQL statements that we are executed after the begin transaction and before the commit transaction, in this case those are insert, select and update, all of those will be saved to a database, meaning it will be permanently stored in a database on a disk. Okay, what else can we do with a transaction? Well, the second thing is that we can roll back a transaction by executing a rollback statement. And what it does is that all the SQL statements that we are part of a transaction will now be cancelled or thrown away, or won't have any effect, whatever you want to call it. So, in other words, when we execute a rollback, this gonna throw away all the SQL statements that we did. For example, here we inserted into labels, right? But because we execute a rollback, now there won't be any row in the labels table with the feature value in it, right? Nor this update. So everything, every side effect that we caused by executing the SQL statements in our transaction is now gone. Okay, that was all for this video. In the next video, we're gonna see all the different categories of SQL statements and which one of them can participate in a database transaction.